one of the things that makes this channel popular and engaging and interesting is how interactive it is. I'm sure by now you've noticed that most of my videos, the content is just simply me responding to a comment that someone left in another video. And this is no different. This video that you're watching right now, this is in response to a video I made called "I'm Your Daddy. Insecure balding young men reveal their insecurities to me." And someone had left a comment, Hussein Dukhani. He had this to say, quote, "Hey Nick, great video. Can you make a video answering this question? Quote, how does someone know who they are? And can one discover who they are if they don't know already?" End quote. I think that's a great question. And really, I'm just going to focus on the latter because that's really, I think, really the heart of the question. I recognize I'm in my late 30s. I'm at a different place in life than most of the people who regularly watch my videos. I know that and I accept that. And it's important to me that I am relevant and able to connect to the people who invest their time in my videos. But at the same time, I want to be overly aware of what I can bring to the table because of my life experience. And so if you don't know who you are and you're wanting to figure that out, for me right now, I have to go back to where I was, let's say at age 20. That was actually one of the least favorite times of my life because I knew who I was, but I didn't know what my life was going to be. I was still trying to figure it out. I didn't even have my college major figured out at that time. And so that's where I'm going right now in my mind in order to answer this question for anyone who's still struggling with, who am I? And I've said recently in videos that it's people who are insecure, they don't know who they are, and they broadcast their insecurity in ways like leaving very negative comments on here and assuming that they have control over my emotions by doing that, which they don't. When you're dealing with someone of my maturity level, because of my life experience, I do not give other people control over my emotions. I'm emotionally intelligent enough to understand how that works. But when you're young, it's hard to understand that. So I would say step one, and by the way, I want you to know something. In addition to most of my videos just being a response to a comment someone left, another thing I want everyone to know about my videos, they're not rehearsed. I will look at a comment, I press record, and we go. I think it's important for me to visualize, what if I were sitting in a coffee shop and a younger guy asked me a question? In that moment, how I'll respond. I want this to be unrehearsed, unfiltered, and real. Just like in the days when people would actually call each other on the phone and talk, people don't do that anymore, right? How do we get these real life conversations, and how can I broadcast them? And I think that's, again, going back to the interactive nature of what this channel is all about. All right, so my unrehearsed answer to this, as far as how do you find out who you are if you don't really know, I'd say step one is to recognize that you alone get to control and decide who emotionally affects you. Okay? And I know I talk about this a lot, but it's that important. Some people let anyone emotionally control them. They're easily offended. We can think about people like that, right? And I even made a video standing in the same room a few days ago, pretending to be someone who was falling apart because I was afraid about people unsubscribing. Obviously, it was a complete act, and it was to prove a point. One of the points the reason I did that was, again, to give you a glimpse of what it would look like if I truly cared about what other people thought as far as letting that emotionally affect me, right? And when you're younger and you have less of your identity built, it's easy to let whatever anyone else says about you or to you affect you, instead of thinking, wait a minute, it's my decision right now for that to affect me or not. So I think the sooner in life you can get to the point of Nick Shell where you say, you know what, only I control that breaker switch of who affects me emotionally. The sooner in life you can get to that point, the sooner you're going to know who you are, even if you don't really know right now. That's the quickest way to jumpstart this thing, if you're asking Nick Shell, the guy who knows. the guy who's making this video, to answer that question. And you're not going to hear that answer anywhere else. No one is ever going to say that. Most people haven't figured out that secret yet. That you alone control your own emotions. It's only up to other people because you allow them to insult you and offend you. It's always a choice. In the same way that forgiveness is always a choice, no matter what's been done to you. That same thing or worse has been done to other people, and those other people, some of them have forgiven the person who did that to them. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable with thinking forgiveness is always a choice, or that your emotions are always a choice no matter what someone else does. If you can get that figured out, I promise you that you're going to that much quicker understand who you really are, quicker than even I figured it out. But as for the rest, as far as figuring out, if you can conquer that part, master that part, and then we can talk about this. I talk about what gives a man value in the eyes of his society, because we can't simply say, well, it doesn't matter what people think about you. Granted, it's your choice whether you let other people emotionally affect you. But at the same time, it's a whole different ballgame when you're living your life in fear of what people are thinking about you. Because you do have to recognize, we all have to recognize that we are being judged. Usually not on the things that we assume, like our looks. Men are not judged on the looks, hardly at all. Instead, we're judged on things like our skill set. As men, that's something that really sets us apart. For me, example, things I'm good at. Well, my full-time job is recruiting and HR. Okay, I'm really good at that stuff. I get paid good money to do that stuff. Okay, and then on the side, I get paid money to do SEO, search engine optimization, where I am helping a major university get their name bigger, and other companies, they're using my blog as a vehicle to do that. So I'm good at those things. I'm good at communicating. I'm good at making money from these videos. Those are things that I'm good at. There's things I'm not good at, like home repairs and fixing cars. It's very basic when it comes to my skill set there. But I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. And I think that's something that's hard to realize when you're younger, that already you know what you're good at. So you start building on that, and that builds your identity. You know what you're not good at. You improve on those things the most you can, but as far as you spending time investing, what should you invest it in? More so the things that you're good at, because ultimately that's your future, that's your identity. And when people think, well, what's he good at? What's his thing? Well, whatever it is, at least you know what it is. And that way it's easier to live your life knowing what you're not good at, because you don't have to put that pressure on yourself. You can think, you know what? That's not my thing. I have a friend that's good at that thing, but not me. The thing that I'm good at is this. And then you become known for that. And guess what? That increases your confidence level, because now you've found this identity in something you were already naturally good at, and now you're becoming known for. And on top of that, you're not worried about what other people are saying to or about you, because you do not let other people offend you, because it's always a choice. So as far as answering that question, if you don't know who you are yet, I'd say that's the best advice I can give you as far as your starter kit. A, recognize that only you control your own emotions. Most people let other people control their emotions. But if you're going to become like Nick Shell, become one of my followers, then that's the most important thing. Other people aren't talking about this. I'm like one of the only people on YouTube talking about it. It's a secret that I gladly share with you. And again, the other thing is, recognize what you're good at, your talents and abilities, and build on those. Make your identity those things. And people will know you for those things, and you'll be confident in those things. Because what do people need to see out of men? Confidence. Well, confidence for the sake of confidence, that'd be nice, but you got to start somewhere. And that confidence also comes from knowing what you're not good at. You can relieve yourself of that burden. So there's your starter kit. I would love to talk more about this. If this video ends up being popular and there's engagement in the comment section, you better believe I'd be crazy not to talk about this more. I love helping people. I love sharing this information with everyone. So there you go. You don't know who you are yet? Now you can figure it out. Because ultimately, and by the way, just like I said, I didn't even know what I wanted to major in when I was 20. Well, by 21, I figured it out. And that was this: while everyone else was complaining about running term papers. And I was thinking, this is really easy, running these essays and term papers. And I'm so bad at math, I can barely get through math. Oh, I should be an English major. And guess what? I became an English major and I graduated with an English degree and ended up in HR full time and then doing, blog work and videos. So I figured that out. But I think subconsciously, those two things I just shared with you is probably where it all started, and it helped get me there. Thanks for watching this video. I am glad that you are here. You can leave a comment here if you want.